Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the second episode of the HiddenHours Podcast during this Corona season. I know you guys are all in lockdown doing your own thing, so it's awesome if you guys are tuning in. Hopefully we keep you entertained. I'm here with Jos Cruz. He is a really, really good barber from Melbourne. He's one of my longtime friends. We met in primary school, had a lot of great memories together, and now he works on the Hidden Hours team as well, creating content. So if you're on our YouTube, all those motivational videos, a lot of those Josh is creating, so they're really dope. So yeah, what's up, man? What have you been up to lately?
Hey man, what's going on? No, I appreciate for me having on the podcast.
All
This is
good.
not gonna lie, this is something out of my lane. It's not my usual. How do I word this? Not my usual cup of tea, but
Yeah,
I am open to new things. But no, I've been good, man. I've been great. Not much has been going on. I recently just came back from the Philippines on the 14th, so I thought everything was gonna be back to normal. Didn't know it'd be in a lockdown, but
yeah. What
then
have you been
until
doing this lockdown? Staying healthy, staying fit.
Man, nothing. It's just been eating and sleeping. I can't lie, man. I've been letting myself go for a little
Yeah,
bit,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
but it right today is Sunday. I did promise myself from tomorrow, Monday, we're gonna get the ball rolling again, get some work on health and fitness, everything in between, man. Try to get back into this regular routine. But yeah, what about you? What's happening?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I think everyone, if everyone's listening, you've probably seen all the posts going out on my personal page and the Hidden Hours page. We're rebranding and launching a lot of new stuff. So I think it would be a perfect chance to talk about what's up. I mean, I think the biggest thing that me and Josh is really excited about is the people that we're going to be interviewing for Hidden Hours. Our mission is to show people that they can change their situation. And it would be awesome to interview people around Melbourne at first, obviously, because we live here, and hear their Hidden Hours story. Because most podcasts will have people that are already successful. We want to interview the underdogs, the people that are putting in their hidden hours right now, because we really feel like their work deserves to be appreciated. So we have a pretty sick lineup already planned. I have my friend Calvin, who's an amazing spray paint artist. He's got some really good work. I've seen him do Drake, Travis Scott. If Calvin is watching this, I'm asking him to do me a spray paint of Bruce Lee, so that would be really sick. But yeah, when we interview him, we'll have his work up. I think you guys will be super excited to see these people and what goes on behind the scenes to build out your dreams. So I think you guys will be really excited. And then, Josh, did you want to talk about Nate? I know you're really close with him.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like that. I like that whole topic about the underdog scene. It's something different. At least I can't recall. There's been nothing like this yet. But yeah, speaking of Nate, shout out to that guy. So for those who don't know him or know him already, he's a barber. He's been cutting for, I believe, 3.5 years. I like to call him the prodigy barber. He won Apprentice of the Year back in 2018. He's been cutting all over Melbourne, in the suburbs, in the city, outside the city, from east to west. Um, yeah, I owe him a lot. He helped me grow a lot in my career in barbering. Obviously, there's still lots to learn, but not even just about barbering, man. But we always get caught up talking about life and just everything in between. So, no, real humble guy, man. One of my
Yes.
questions is,
Yeah, yeah.
I remember before I was a part of the Hidden Hours team.
Yeah.
I remember you did mention that those two guests, Sam and Jake, those
Hmm.
are always two recurring people that I see on the page. And
Mm.
so yeah, what's the deal with them? Those guys, man.
Yeah, like Jake and Sam, when Hidden Hours was straight just basketball, I saw those two guys and I was training them. They were the main kids I was training for basketball, and shout out to them too because they really represented the brand. Like, I didn't have to message them to keep them accountable for what they were doing. They'd just be training no matter what, and sometimes they'd be nagging me to train them, like messaging me all day, every day, even when I'm at work. When I couldn't train them, they'd be messaging me. So they really helped Hidden Hours grow at first, and I can't wait. Those two are on the lineup as well for the podcast. Jake, I know, is trying to make it to college, and I wish him nothing but the best because we had some freaking fun times in his church that he lended to us to train in. And Sam, Sam really reminds me of myself coming up when I was playing basketball. So I'm really close with those boys, and I hope to see both of them hopefully one day in the league or playing professionally overseas. But
Yeah.
man, yeah, shout out to
No,
those two.
no, killer, man. It's good to see those boys. Obviously, you don't have to nag them. It sounds like from the get go, without you even telling
Uh,
them once, it sounded like they were all in since the beginning.
yeah, they were both all in, man. Yeah, 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 they were straight hitting hours, man. Put in the work when no one's watching.
Now represent. So speaking of which, actually, today's, how do you say this, topic or agenda? We're going to be discussing about the amazing traits of Kobe.
Mm,
We'll see how we go. This
yeah,
being the first like episode with a
yeah,
guest. We'll try and talk about like the ins and outs, maybe not just basketball related, but like himself personally on and off the court.
hmm
Um, okay, so
yeah.
what we
You
have
you
lined
re-
up.
you you recently finished his book. You have it right there, don't you? You want to
Yeah,
give
no, I
things for
did. I
everyone?
did, man. um, that happened. Dad happened to steal a free book when he
Hmm
was in Melbourne.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
believe this is last year for his
yeah,
talk. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, man, I'm not done. I'm halfway, but I can
Okay,
tell you there's some super insightful content. Talks about his traits, what goes on and off the court. Not even about just like the way he breaks down basketball, just not to what makes sense. Like some of the passages in the book doesn't make sense, but it works for him. So
yeah,
it's really cool to see that he stays true to himself and what he resonates. With that being said, we might talk about some of the highlights and his key traits for success.
yeah. Sure,
So Matt,
sure.
you wanna kick us off with that?
Yeah, like with Kobe, like before we even get started, I just want to say like rest in peace because he played such a big role in the lives of everyone in basketball, and not even only in basketball. Like he was a representation of hard work, and no matter what sport you did or whatever craft you were in, he was such a great representation. So in memory of him, let's dedicate this episode to Kobe. And first thing, I just want to talk about that work ethic, man. That crazy work ethic. I remember this one story, bro. What was it? He was, yeah, he was training for the Olympics for the USA team, and there's just this amazing story that I used to always use for inspiration when I was playing basketball. Was when he woke up at like 4 in the morning, and he called his trainer, and his trainer was sleeping, trying to sleep. Like most people are asleep at 4 a.m. And he's like, "Get up! Like let's go to work. Like I need you to rebound for me." So the trainer goes back to sleep quickly, comes back out. He's at the gym, and when he's at the gym, Kobe's already in a full sweat at like 4:30 in the morning.
Is
So I
that
can't
right?
remember,
4 in the morning.
yeah, I can't remember it exactly, but he was already in a full sweat. So he was probably already there for a good 45 minutes before putting up shots. And those are the hidden hours you don't see. Like those are the stories you really don't see when someone's putting in that work. And yeah, so that's a trait. That's one of the first traits that I think is really good to talk about is working when no one is watching. And that's what hidden hours is. If there's something you can take from Kobe, and for all you listeners, is it's easy to work, at training when people are watching, or if you're on social media posting, it's easy to post those things because you're doing it for an external reason. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can be an internally motivated person, then you don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need the external environment to continue to do what you do on a daily basis. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, what that meant was just getting on the court, like going to the stadiums when no coach was there. I didn't have a trainer or anything, and I just keep putting up shots and shots and shots. Same with building out hidden hours. Like when this thing becomes big, no one will see all those hours I put on the laptop. Just
Yeah.
trying to do all the micro stuff, like building out the website, getting domains, strategizing the brand. And I'm sure for you, bro, like um, no one will ever see your first haircuts. Like
Oh no,
I'm sure they were trash.
no, 100%, man. I thought they were the best thing back then. I look back at it, I was thinking, damn, I feel sorry for my friends. I thought this was good and passable, but clearly I didn't have a trained eye back then. Obviously, still learning, of course, but we've improved, which is all that matters.
What's one memory you have, like like just a fun memory that you look back at, and like it's just a feel good memory of your first days as a barber, really.
First days of barbering. Okay. So I'd have to be stretching back into the first shop that I worked in. Um,
Even before that, when you first started, like, do you remember your first cut?
yeah, I do. I
Yeah,
do. Um, I think there's a fine balance between you feel confident
yeah,
plus your skill set, where there's, like with anything, some people might not be confident, but they might have an unreal skill set.
uh-huh.
I remember cutting one of the close friends, Anthony, thinking this was like the best haircut ever. Like first try, like first try. This is first try. This is like not bad, half bad for someone that's untrained. Cutting his hair 3 years later until today, I compare the two photos and I think I
Different
feel
story, bro.
I feel sorry for him. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, when
That's a quick memory.
I remember looking back at videos of like when my first jump shot, like my form, and I used to think like I was like Cash from the 3-point line, and I would look back and like that form was ugly, man. That form was
You look like
ugly.
you look a little bit like a you look like a catapult, huh? Just
Probably
flinging
something like
something.
that. And even like my first websites, when I look back, they sucked. So all those hidden
Hmm.
hours, like back to the point, Kirby is a great representation of you need to work when no one's watching so that you can shine when all eyes are on you. So put in that work, and um, let me tell you, when you work when no one's watching, it might not be appreciated at first, but let me tell you, that stuff at the end of the day, you will get your appreciation you deserve. It's just how the world works, and that's how it is. And then that's what we're trying to do as well. Put your work on appreciation.
That's not
Um,
that's what it's all about, man. It's not
is it
about
is there
necessarily
any?
seeking.
Yeah. Now you go.
It's not
You go.
about necessarily like seeking instant validation, like you said, putting on social media. You just got to stay low, stay hidden,
Yeah.
keep your groundwork. Because if you know, ultimately, if you stay true to that, the good parts will come along the way, man. But
Mm,
yeah, no, I like
mm.
that. That's a good
Did
point.
Did you have any, like, reading that book? Did you have any traits that really stood out to you about Kobe?
Yes, yes. There's a few that I would like to talk about, but
Mm,
because you don't have all day.
yeah.
One of the traits I thought that really sort of resonated with me, just like with that first point of yours, discussing about putting those hidden hours. I'd like to think something that was really a part of me was about training the body. Like, yes, of course, but not just that, but he was also very particular in training the mind too.
Mm,
So basketball is not just a physical game, like running up and down the court, being effective, but it's about the mind too.
right. Right.
I'm sure all the hoopers out there, they already know that it's such a mind game, like with intimidation or trying to please people. Like you've been there. I didn't really grow up in basketball, but
Yeah. Yeah.
off me being on the side of the court, I can see like what goes through their head. Um, it's just crazy. Not even in relation to Kobe. For example, let's take college athletes. Some of these like Division 1 players, they think they have like the capability to be physically ready. Like they're physically there. They can run up and down the court, like take 3-second rests. Like they're just flawless. But something that really gets to them is their mentality. So a lot of these kids, from my observation, like they end up getting into these high schools, um, playing the game at an elite level. So physically already, but mentally, if something really challenges them, thinking like I can't make it or who do I have to please, at that point they really shut down.
Mm,
So coming back to the book, Kobe, he really discusses about basically just trying to build a thick skin, man. Like whenever trials
yes.
get thrown at you. So one
Yes.
part, everyone knows that his Achilles, for example, it's been torn. He got over that. So that was something more physically, but immediately once he was resting, I remember him talking about seeing what is the next step. So what am I going to do to get around this? Like what is the best thing, especially mentally? His career could have ended right there. So that would have shut him down for quite a bit. But he does talk a lot about blocking out external forces and just maybe you can acknowledge them, but ultimately you wouldn't want to spend too long on that. So yeah, training not the body but just the mind too.
Yeah.
Um,
Man, those are great points. And like the whole thing about thick skin, I can't explain enough how important that is. Like, um, I think you will know as well. Like anything we've ever done, like since we've been growing up, there's always people that don't like what we're doing, are gonna voice it, and being able to like persevere through people telling you you can't do it or people telling you your stuff sucks just means a lot. And for all my athletes on the court, like number one thing I can recommend for building a thick skin is you got to start visualizing and meditating all the time. Because if you can, if it's all about not like even the first trait, it's all about not focusing on the external environment. If you can be strong internally, you can be greater than your environment. So develop that thick skin through meditation, through visualization. I'll do more podcasts on that.
Man,
Because
I need to get on.
yeah,
Sorry, you finish first.
yeah, when times get tough on the court or off the court, like with your family or anything, if you can return to your breath, if you can return to your internal why, your purpose, trust me, it may sound like gimmicky at first, but once I put it into practice, you really develop thick skin. You can get through some tough times.
Nice, man. Definitely. I can. That's too important of a trait. I couldn't say it any better than you did.
Bro, it is. You like me, like Jos and me, like we always messaging each other talking about like our meditation practices and stuff. I mean, to be honest, it's a struggle to. I think the hardest part is being consistent with it.
Man, that's a different struggle. To me, it's just I just find it funny how it looks so simple. Like all you do is just sit there, relax, chill out. But then once you sit there, like it really gets you thinking, man. Like physically you can sit there, but obviously on the outside, it's just you just sit there. But that's not my area of expertise. But yeah, maybe I gotta investigate a little bit more into that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so okay, nice. So we spoke about the hidden hours, not training the body, just the mind too.
Yeah, let's just make that point clear. Train the body and the mind, just because this is our first podcast, so let's make the points clear.
It goes hand in hand.
The next thing from Kobe that we really that Jos brought up to me the other day was, and I think I got stuck doing this growing up, is you can't serve everyone. Did you want to talk more about that, or do you want me to talk about that?
Okay, let's handball it. So you can go first and just pass it on when you're ready.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, in terms of not serving everyone, for me, I always wanted to like please people growing up, and it was a good way of finding mentors. I say that's one good thing about that. But the downside is sometimes you stop doing things that you love to please other people, and that really held me back, for real. Like that really held me back. Like let's do it in Kobe's case. Like let's do it in the world of basketball. If you're always trying to please the players around you, there's a difference between leadership and trying to please everyone. Yeah.
All right.
As a leader, you need to inspire people, right? A lot of people when they're younger, like me, I wanted to be a leader on the court as a point guard, but I thought if I please everyone, they start listening to me. That wasn't the case. Once I pleased everyone, the more you try to please people, the more you give them room to do whatever they want without boundaries. You need to set your boundaries, and you need to stand firm as well, not just try to please everyone at the same time. So as a good leader, you need to be able to tell people your boundaries, like, hey man, that's too far. That's too far. Like, I'm not going to do that. Because at first they're not going to like you, but then they'll learn to respect you. And that's the key.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are thinking it's just instant gratification, but that's never the case, right?
Delayed, man. It's all about that delayed gratification.
Yeah, it's a shame that everyone understands that, man. But also be considered. You can't, like you said, man, you can't serve everyone. You got to do your own thing. And I think Kobe, it really shows with him knowing that he disciplines his time so well. I can't remember. I can't remember if this was inside or outside of the book, but he talks a lot about obviously basketball is his craft. So that was him playing the sport of basketball. And I remember growing up, he made the promise to himself, anything outside of that lane, it's just, I have no time for. Mm-hmm. So anything that's not relation to basketball, that's not I'm cutting it out. And I just think it's crazy.
He set that priority.
Yeah, that was the priority for him, which is, it's crazy because I'm still trying to practice that. There's a few things I'd like to accommodate, but still working on it and trying to figure out. But at such a young age, to think that as a teenager, no one really has a clear vision, or if you do, things change. No one knows what they want to do when they're young. But the fact that he made that promise to himself at that age, it's ironic to think that he carried it out the whole way. And next thing you know, is one of the leading inspirations in the game.
I mean, his impact is going to last forever, I reckon. His legacy is up there, man. Have you ever felt Like you were trying to please too many people at one time, or like it got
Yeah.
too much and it got too much?
Yeah, I can. I'm trying to think of a moment where that's been happening,
Yeah, yeah.
but
How did that
plus,
feel though? How did that feel trying to please everyone, even if you
how did
didn't have
that
a moment?
feel?
Yeah,
In the beginning, so let's talk about the emotion.
yeah,
In the beginning, it was not gonna lie, it was sort of alright. It was sort of cool. No,
yeah.
like all right, cool. I got validation. I got validated from this person, this person, this person. But it was not worth being validated by X amount of people, knowing the amount of stress that it puts on you, knowing not being true to yourself.
Yes.
So it's not worth the trade-off. So I'm trading like me not being true to myself for a little bit of validation that really doesn't matter, because what's the point in being validated into something that you're not?
Mm, mm.
Whereas if you stay true to yourself, it's a lot more relaxing. Like, this is who I am, and you get one person that acknowledges that down the line, and it's very relieving. So
It is. It is
definitely, yeah. If there's anything you could take away, be true to
stressful.
yourself.
It's very stressful, isn't it? Trying to please everyone.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. I'm sure you'd have had a bit of trials as well,
Yeah.
with like everything that you've been through, different career paths. But yeah, man.
Dope, man. Well, I mean, we already spoke a bit about leadership, but that's kind of like the last thing we wanted to kind of touch up on is I've been reading this book. If I can find it. I've been reading this book, Essentialism, for the second time. And actually, it's cool that you're on the call because you recommended it to me. And it's been one of my favorite. It was like you said it was one of your favorite books. And now it's
Yeah.
become one of my favorite books. So this is the second time I'm reading Essentialism. If you haven't read it, read it. It's like one of the best books on um, how to prioritize things. One thing Kobe did well, and I heard in an interview, is how did he, as a leader, he was a bit unique because some leaders try to get people that aren't on board by inspiring them, which is a great way. But for him, if you went all in, he didn't want nothing to do with you. And as in this book, as an essentialist, it talks about if it's not 100% yes, cut it out. And I think in life that me, Josh, and I have learned is learn to prioritize things that matter the most, and everything else they might seem like relevant at first, but really in the whole span of things, they're not helping you in any way, in any form. Like let's take Josh for example in terms of barbering. Like when someone goes to learn barbering, is there anything that seems relevant at first when you first start? But in the whole span of things, you should probably just be focusing on the main skills, and it doesn't really matter. Is there any that kind of thing?
So okay. So let's ask the question again. The question was, what's relevant? Like,
Yeah, when you first, I'll give you an example in basketball. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, a lot of kids come on, and I remember when I started, like, you think everything's relevant. Like, you need to learn every freaking move to be like a beast.
Okay. Got you. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Okay, so with barbering, the main focuses. So like this is talking about the first time being put behind the chair.
yeah, exactly.
Is some people think, and there's this misconception that people see, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, or as they talk a lot. Like they sit in the chair and they try to just have this great conversation, try to really
Mm,
connect with the client, customer, regulars, whoever. So they really try to like get into their head. Like all of a
yeah,
sudden, this is their best friend.
yeah,
But um, being that it's your first day behind the chair, I think it's best to just shut up and let your skill set talk
right.
for yourself,
Yeah,
because it's not easy, man. For those who cut hair that are listening in, you already know how it's like. You can't. It is such a difficult challenge to multitask while cutting hair, like talking and cutting hair. Whereas it's better just to more be quiet, let your skill set talk for yourself, because ultimately, like that's what you're there for, right? You're
yeah,
all in. You're
yeah,
just cutting. You're like, that's what you want to learn. You want to be
yeah.
all in on cutting hair. So a lot
And
of
just
people want to
focusing on
focus.
what's essential to the
Yeah,
craft.
yeah.
Yeah,
So what are you after? Are you after trying to have a great conversation to connect with the client, and then have a shit haircut, or maybe just tone down your voice and go all in, focus on, okay, what am I going to do? How am I going to attack this? What procedure am I going to use? And then I think well, no, I don't think it's like that's what it is. You get a way better result if you just focus on the one task at hand, which is providing a service. So
Yeah, and that
that's
comes
it.
down to whole 80-20 rule where 80% of your results are going to come to 20% from your actions. 80% of your results come from 20% of all your actions. So like as a barber, when you're first starting out, you might think you need to be like the top barbers and have amazing conversations, but what's going to get you the actual results is just getting that fade right first. Because
Set the groundwork, man.
set the foundation like a cake.
Yeah.
Add the layers, and then on top you can add the desserts. You can add the sorry, not desserts, but you can add all the nice toppings later. Yeah,
Cherries and candles, man.
yeah.
Cherries and candles.
You can put the great conversation can come. Yeah,
Set the groundwork, man. Don't skip steps.
never skip steps,
Nah.
and focus on the main thing. Kobe, look, I remember hearing something that Kobe would just practice for 1 hour straight, the same move, the
Mm-hmm.
same move. He would just run to the baseline and do a fall away jumper. Now,
Yeah.
with all this skills training going on, everyone's trying to do all these crazy moves and stuff. Focus on what's essential first. I want you to watch, for all my basketball players, I want you to watch all like college games and things and see how many dribbles they take to score. Like you'll be surprised. They don't take that many dribbles. And for my entrepreneurs, for my people that own a small business, for my artists, you might think you need to be everywhere. You might think you need to be Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, freaking TikTok. No, pick one to be your pillar, pick one to be your foundation, and then create things on that platform and become the authority on that platform, right?
Mm-hmm.
And grow out of it. And then you can make little pieces of content for the other platforms, but focus on one first, right? Become the authority in one. So yeah, I think Kobe really talks about, what is essential. And as a leader, find people that are all in. And if they're not, if you want to be like Kobe and use what he uses, say no.
Man, shout out to me. I'm way too guilty of that. I don't, for the record, I don't consider myself um like an expert in basketball. I only started playing last year.
Yeah,
Still way too much to learn, but no, I can confidently say I'm guilty of that, man. One of my favorite players. I do love watching Allen Iverson and Kyrie, but what's the point in trying to rip a spin move when I can't even run in a straight line and dribble a ball?
that's such a good
So I
point
did try
too.
to throw my energy everywhere.
That's what people are trying
Yeah,
to do though. They're literally
yeah,
trying
you
to do
already.
like, yeah,
Yeah, dude, I need at least like 5 dribbles to get to the rim, but I'm way too guilty of that example, man. Speaking of which, so that just shows and goes to outline that I did try to skip the basics. I was trying to think, yeah, anyone can put a ball in a hoop, anyone can run a straight line and dribble a ball. So let's skip that, add some crossovers behind the backs, and then no control of the ball whatsoever.
yeah, yeah.
which goes back to
Focus on the
Kobe.
fundamentals first, man.
That's exactly, yeah. Until today, like even when Kobe was in his prime, he still, I can't remember what interview it was or what show he was on, but he discussed so much over and over again. He really drilled it into the audience heads and the viewers. He really drilled it in saying how much he's in love with the basics, which is funny
Mm,
because normally, well, what I think is that if you're playing at such a high level, knowing that you're on top of the world, normally you can like branch yourself out to other things, but he still kept on going. Remember the basics, do the basics, be in love with the basics. But it really goes to show as a proven point, if you look at the level he's playing at, yeah, basics do really matter. Like even with barbering, there are some haircuts that are really basics, but I tend to overcomplicate it. So it is nice to revisit like the groundwork. So you can't never forget that.
yeah, yeah, man. Basics is really important, and whatever is essential. And yeah, if whoever's listening, like take that, write that down, because Josh and me are still trying to work on these things that we're talking about. But it's what we've learned from our mentors and learning from people like Kobe. It's amazing that our heroes can impact us like this, even if we've never met them. And yeah, man, thanks for coming on this podcast, bro. Like, it's great talking to you. Like,
No, I appreciate that,
we
man.
actually did way better than we thought we would. So, I mean,
Yeah, this is not, I don't know, not bad for our first episode. There's still lots to work on, but that's,
yeah,
hey, we both said it, man. That's what it's all about. You got to set the groundwork. We can't take shortcuts. So
yeah,
it's
for
only
sure.
up from here.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Just quickly, if you've stayed this long, thank you for listening for this long. And just want to say our store is up and running. www.hiddenhours.com, www.hiddenhours.com. I gotta talk slower. And we've got some apparel up there. It's all online, so you can buy it online and they'll ship it out. During this lockdown, there might be some delays on shipping, but it will get to you. So yeah, rep the apparel. And the locked in supplement's also coming out, so you guys can stay super focused every day. It's a daily supplement, a nootropic that's coming out as well, and the podcast as well. So stay tuned. Please give us feedback. We need feedback.
Shoot us a message, man. Let us know. That's what it's all about. We're here to help each other, right? So
yeah,
let us know what we can improve on. If you have any ideas or suggestions, shoot us a message. But yeah, how do you normally end this? Until next time, or
I just want to say before I end it, you have the power to change your situation. I'm gonna keep telling you. That's my goal, to inspire all of you to change your situation. Dream big. We need more big dreamers, and more big dreamers that will not be afraid to voice their dreams out and try and make it a reality. And if you are a big dreamer, hit us up because we want to interview you. All right, that's it. Thanks for coming on, bro.
All right. Peace, everyone.
Later.